Hey guys, welcome back. My cat's sneezing. If you are new to therapy and you're curious about it and wondering how can you make therapy that everyone has been talking about helpful and useful for you, watch this video. For a disclaimer, I am not a certified therapist or psychotherapist. I'm currently a grad student and my major is in counseling education. I have been navigating through therapy and then kind of decided I wanted to make therapy as my part of my career goal. I wanted to dig deeper into such field. So today is just a quick short video to tell you what therapy is. This video will help you to identify a few factors that would make therapy the best for you. First of all, I think it's really important we find a therapist that really fits ourselves. As for me, I come from a country that's from the eastern side, and when I was first trying out therapist, I had a therapist from Western culture who doesn't necessarily share the whole life experience with me. So it was hard for us to resonate each other. It's harder for the therapist to know what I was referring to when I was going through, especially like a culture shock when I first entered the city, the States more specifically. And I wanted to talk to someone who knows my struggle as a woman. So I really advocated for finding a female identified therapist. Looking for the right therapist for me has been a journey, but every single time like meeting with different therapists makes me like narrow it down who or what kind of therapist or kind of therapy that I'm actually looking for that would work best for me, what kind of traits that I am looking out for in a therapist that would potentially fits me the best. I got paired up with a Caucasian looking, like 60 something years old grandpa, and I remember like half into the therapy session, like we just doesn't click as the way that I wanted to. Some people might get scared that finding new therapists would be something that was very scary. I had those thoughts all the way, and even before trying out each new therapist, it almost feels like you have to reopen your heart and start building your trusting relationship and work on your inner circle. It takes people a lot of attempts to get there, and it's normal that sometimes it just takes time. What are some traits that really makes you feel like, okay, this is it, like okay, now we click? Here's some of things that I noticed when I clicked with my therapist, and maybe this will help you as well when you find your one. So first of all, as we said, there are different identities that you can look out for. If you are a people of color, if you wanted to look for someone who is specialized in one particular area that we can talk about culturally, stress, trauma, all of those different forms. I think this therapist specialized in gender norm, transgender. Like, I think that is just beautiful, lovely. Like, I love just people having so much different specialties in different areas. When I was looking for mine, I was looking out for therapists who are specialized in trauma, specialized in transition. I was getting through cultural shock. I was graduating college and I found my person who experienced in China, where I'm from. So she knows my cultural background. Like, even though she wasn't born in China, she get a feel of how this cultural shock things work because she also has similar experience. Another thing is my communication style is very direct. So I wanted someone who called the elephant out of the room. I want people just being direct, straightforward, just be out and open with me. I don't like people being like, what's going on? Like, I don't want to waste my time doing that. So my communication style has always been very straightforward, and I don't really mind much about like being too straightforward because sometimes like people are just worried about it, just might hurt people's feelings, but that's not a thing for me. I'm just a very bold and direct person, I guess. On the research panel where you can put in your preference, I want someone really direct. So this person therapist they pair me up with is very direct. Finding someone that fits your communication style and your working pattern will makes you feel like that your time was used effectively and both of you are bouncing off of each other with the correct pace for you. You don't want to find someone who's way too fast and you're like, wait, what, slow down. You also don't want to find someone who is like, we only have like 60 minutes and I'm paying like what, $180 for this. Everybody's time is valuable, so make sure that you find your person that's like fits your communication style, that you guys can find a pretty balanced speed of communicating. So where do you find your therapist? If you're in college, there should be an institution within the school system that provide mental health services, that you can look for your therapist or look for sessions with your school system. They should be offering your services through that. I actually found my therapist through my undergrad school system, and I'm still working with her outside of the school system since I graduated already, but so I'm working with her in her private practice now. If you're not in school and you're actually working and you're trying to be an adult, you're trying to be a good girl, big girl, I would say I tried BetterHelp, and I actually, it's a funny story. So I matched with my therapist through school. Then I dematched her because I graduated. So I logged back into BetterHelp and I put in all of my preferences, like all of that, and they matched me with my exact same therapist. And I've been working with her till now. They do a really good job of hooking you up with the person that would match your skills that you're looking for, specialize in the area that you were just most concerned about. Biggest thing I really like about BetterHelp is I really like the messaging system. I don't know about other practice, but when I have my therapy session with my therapist, usually is once a week, and BetterHelp make it so much easier for you. It give you access to your therapist like all week long. And you can leave a message in the chat and your therapist will get back to you when they get back to you. Like usually it's like around a day or like less. So moving on, we just talk about some traits and tips that you're looking out for to help you find your therapist, talking about how much it costs usually and like the time. Usually I have been into therapist session that's like 30 minutes to 60 minutes long. Usually it's no longer than 60 minutes because, you know, therapy is expensive. So we want to make our time well spent, and I've had phone call and video call with my therapist, and through BetterHelp you get to kind of text your therapist. I usually get a response like within not that long. It's just nice to know that my therapist is there for me. I'm not really sure how the insurance work because now for me, I am still working the same therapist but through her private practice, which is through, I think it's called Paracel. Now it's through my working insurance, like $25 per session after running through insurance. But without insurance it's like $180 per session, and that's like 60 minutes. I think it's a lot. Before you start, make sure that you know the pricing of each provider, and different platform price it differently. So one of the things like I didn't know, but then I turned out to find out that's super helpful for me is group therapy. I've attended a few group therapy through BetterHelp. It's included in your subscription. You can attend and then they have topics. I remember going to one which topic is transitioning to grad school, or how to balance your life with grad school and full-time job, or you know, just surrounded by grad school when I was looking out for grad school program and just wondering where my life would lead me to with grad school. So I remember joining, and there's like 7 or 6 people who are also in the grad school program, who are just talking about some areas of struggles that they are dealing with, and they're sharing with the groups. I think there was one licensed therapist or counselor in the group, so the space is safe and you get to meet people who are on the similar stage in their life and you get to chat with them. I remember just hearing how different people is sharing about their lives. Some people are having full-time jobs and have to do grad school over the night and is struggling with that, and people are talking about time management. Before entering that group session, I had a lot of concerns and just unknown for me, but just being there, like surrounded by people who are also like sharing similar life stages with me, makes me feel like I'm less alone, that I'm not alone, I'm not facing this alone. Like sure, grad school is hard, especially that we are being adult, that we have true responsibilities, that we have to balance life, work and grad school at the same time. Just knowing that we're working this together and we have someone in the group who has went through all this, so the licensed therapist counselor, that person has went through all this, so they know my struggle, and there is somebody that I can go to if I ever need more specific advice. I am fortunate and lucky, and I'm grateful that I find someone who understands me so well, that I worked so well with, and I really hope that you do too, and you find your therapist. Feel free to leave a comments below if you have any questions or comments. I hope to see you all soon. Bye!